Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and welcome to my channel. This is Eclectic Alchemy, where you can find all kinds of different things going on my channel. I've told people many times that I feel that I'm too old to have too many channels, and so I have one with a lot of different playlists. So if you like eclectic, if you like things that are different, if you like the fact that I'm not talking about the same old stuff every day, then this is the channel for you. Today, and I'll be doing this for a little while because it's in my wheelhouse right now, is that I am going to be talking about good King Harry, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, Meghan, formerly known as Meghan Markle. So if you are a subscriber to this channel, welcome. I really appreciate your being here. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. You might be surprised at what you get to hear and listen to on this channel of eclectic type of information and topics, a variety show, so to speak. So, in the news, the folks are going, I'm recording this on Saturday, and good King Harry is set to speak at the UN for Nelson Mandela Day. Now, so many people have been pointing out and asking the question, well, why Harry? Why? Well, why not Harry? Here's the thing about Harry, and I'm not looking at notes right now, so please excuse me for maybe going out of sequence. But Harry, for the longest time, that family over there in the UK kept sending him to Africa for whatever reason. Like Dad sent him to Africa when he supposedly had misbehaved, so he sent him to Africa to get straightened out. Well, I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, yeah, because in Africa he learned manners. Yeah, in African, they taught him respect for his elders. Yes, in Africa, he learned to behave and act like a prince. They didn't expect that. They then thought they were sending him over there as punishment, and actually, he got a learning lesson. Many of you have seen pictures of him at a young age as a teenager, as a 19-year-old or whatever, and he's playing with the kids, the babies, and holding the babies. And this is when he found out about the kids and the stigma that happens to them when they were born with the AIDS virus. He learned compassion. He learned about what it felt like, or what the consequences of being thought less than, put down as, being out. Well, what I want to say, the older to get, the words don't come as much or as quickly. That they're being ostracized. That's the word I want to use. They're being ostracized because their parent or parents were either dying of AIDS, passed the AIDS on to them. And so the kids were cast out, and they may not have been orphans yet, but they were abandoned. And so he learned about those kids being abandoned. And it went to his heart. And if you've seen pictures of Harry holding these African babies, hugging them, talking to them, dancing with them, learning how to be happy So it wasn't punishment that he was sent to Africa. It was the best thing that could have happened to him. His mother was probably dancing in the heavens because she knew he was getting a training that he would never have received in the palaces in the United Kingdom. Good King Harry. And it is said that Princess Diana called him Good King Harry and said he would make a better king than his brother. And we all know that the other brother, well, the only brother, was being raised by his great grandmother, taken under her wing. And it is said that she had attitudes about people who were not like her that was not very nice. Yeah, I'm holding back on that one. And so he was raised to be a snob. He was raised to think that he was better than everybody else because because of his birth order, was going to be King of England when he got old. And I say, oh, because his grandmother has lived so long, his father is still alive, and he has to wait for both of them to transition before he becomes king. Well, not only has Harry, good King Harry, learned a lot by going to Africa as, quote, punishment, but he learned enough that he started a charity called Sentabale that would help these children and these people in this area. And Sentabale has expanded from its original location to multiple locations, multiple cities, I dare say a couple of countries. It has expanded, and he has worked hard with the fundraising by having dinners, which we saw him talk at that dinner when he and Meghan were doing their last engagements before they left. And he said, I'm not leaving you. I'd never leave you. I'm still here for you, good King Harry. So they wanted to banish them to Africa to get them out of their hair. Ha ha ha. Harry went to Africa and was at the Nelson Mandela location there. He was given an honor at the about that Nelson Mandela in New York, long before he met Meghan. He has been working with them, and he and Meghan visited with Nelson Mandela's widow and daughter. Come on, guys. Why Harry? Why Harry is the one that was chosen to speak? Hey, we see it. And going back, he said the palace used to send Harry to places the other two, and that means future king and future king, didn't want to go. The other brother and wife were uncomfortable around large groups of black people and Caribbean people. And there was a video, and if I find it, I'll put it in here, but I'm not good at finding those videos, of when the other brother's wife was pulling back as a woman was trying to take her hand and guide her. Because what I'm seeing here is that the other brother and his wife have been trained, and with the nonce, PA, the pedophile, I guess I'll call him that, possibly, but you know who I'm talking about, had said to somebody, you're not allowed to touch me, because for the longest time, the rules were you couldn't touch them. They sent him to places that the others didn't want to go. Harry embraced the people and the cultures, and that the cultures embraced him. Harry was open to learn. Harry was an open book. He was not closed-minded. And the thing, unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, is Harry got a lesson in immersion of what people of color experience when he fell in love with Meghan. You see, Harry, even though he had those missteps when he was younger, he learned for those missteps. So, we keep getting a picture of him with the armband because the name of that party, if I remember correctly, was the bad people of history. Not good people of history, but the bad people of history, the bad things of history. And the other brother helped him pick that uniform that was splashed all over the newspapers about Harry wearing the swastika. Harry didn't think anything of that. He was wearing a costume. And many kids today, many children today, many teenagers, many college people do this kind of stuff, not thinking about the consequences of wearing those kinds of costumes, because people are cosplay. My son and daughter go to the Comic-Con and, they become Star Trek people, or there's the Starborough Fair, which has people believing and dressing as they were in the 1500s. And so it could have been an innocent thing, but unfortunately it got in the papers and it was seen as, oh, he's terrible. He's a Nazi. He's a this. Or when he referred to his fellow military person as a Paki. Now, that might have been words that had been said all around in the military, and in his words or his wording, this person was his friend. This person was his buddy, right? But he didn't mean that terminology, in my opinion, as derogatory, because he may have heard it being used in a friendly way, but in reality it was a derogatory statement. We know of many names that have been used. I can think of one when I was in Pittsburgh, and certain people were called hunkies, all right, or wasps, or, there's other terms. I'm not going to use them, but I think you understand what I'm saying. But in the correct setting, I know there's probably never a correct setting, but in a certain setting, it was not meant to be mean and nasty. And he, in his innocence, didn't realize that, but he apologized and he told his friend that he didn't mean it as an insult. It was an endearment as far as he was concerned. So hopefully you all are understanding exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was good. It is not something you want to use. But when we look at Harry's heart and the things that he's done and the things that he says today, we see that he is a man that has learned from his mistakes. And maybe it wasn't so bad that he was used as the scapegoat many times, because he learned from that. Unfortunately, we don't like the idea that he was a scapegoat, but I'm thinking it helped shape him. Like I said, they sent him to Africa, and he learned from Africa. And many people have seen he had Halle Berry as his pinup girl. He didn't have some blonde, blue-eyed starlet, Reese Witherspoon or someone like that. He had Halle Berry. Harry's a good man. And for so many people, they won't let him mature. The Derangers want him to keep being that guy that wore the Nazi uniform. They want him to be the guy that said Pocky. They want him to be the guy that was playing strip poker in Las Vegas, right? And somebody took a picture and put it out on the internet. And yes, he should have known better and he should have confiscated the phones and all that kind of stuff. But he was having a good time. And actually, he was acting out and he didn't care. He was tired. Now, I can't remember if that happened before he was pulled out of the military or while he was on leave. But I know and he talked about it, he said he was acting out. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a good King Harry, a good man who has learned from his mistakes. Good King Harry who is able to talk to all types of people. Good King Harry who talked and remember the name of the 99-year-old woman in Australia. Well, she was 97 at the time. And she died at 99. But she got to see Meghan. And she was happy. He did that. He's wonderful with children. Good King Harry. So who else would talk about what the significance of Mandela and his struggle and his years in prison? And the things that he stood for and the things that he did once he got out of prison. Good King Harry. So why don't people let Prince Harry mature and change? Because they don't want him to. They want him to stay that wild child. They wanted him to stay the person that was going to be in contrast to his brother. Well, he's still in contrast to his brother because he's fulfilling, quote, his duty as a humanitarian, a philanthropist, as a person who is going to help the planet, as a person who is helping people help themselves mentally, emotionally, helping his veterans to better themselves and not commit suicide, not to lay up and become alcoholics or drug addicts, and help them to live their life better. Good King Harry, he is the master of his faith. Good King Harry is a veteran. Good King Harry is dealing with the digital equality and the fairness online. He's a mental health advocate. He's the founder of the Invictus Games. Don't let anybody take that from him. I've heard too many people say, well, he did it while he was under the Royal Foundation. I said, yeah, but the other brother had nothing to do with it. That was their vehicle when he was just him and his brother, and then him and his brother and his sister-in-law. But in reality, his brother and sister-in-law did very little. They rode on the ingenuity and the creativity of Good King Harry. Good King Harry, CIO of Better Up. And somebody said, well, what can he do with Better Up? What does he know? Well, let me tell you that Better Up has increased the number of companies that are working with them. They've become worldwide. They got an office in the UK. I know about them. You know about them. We wouldn't have known about them much. It's not like we do if it hadn't been for Harry. I was working with a company that had the same concept, but it didn't go like Better Up did. But he's bringing them on the world stage, and Better Up is working with the veterans or the people that are dealing with Invictus Games. He's helping them, and they get some free coaching. He's bringing that, not only being part of the CIO, but he is bringing help to his fellow veterans. He's got travelers that even Google has joined. He and Megan created Archwell that is helping many people, as we know, the World Central Kitchen. We know they helped a women's shelter here in the Dallas area when the big storm last year ripped off their roof, and they were in dire straits, and they gave them money to get their roof plus a whole lot of other stuff, plus the fact that they had a wish list on Amazon, and I think all of us squatties helped to they got everything on their wish list. And I already mentioned Bali, and he is a wonderful husband and father, proud father, who is raising his kids to be respectful and honest and caring and loving, and not in that gilded cage in the United Kingdom. Good King Harry. I'm looking forward to his speech at the UN, just as many of you are. And so with that, I'm just going to sign off. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell if you're a subscriber. Thank you for being here. Please share this with others that you know of. And please remember, this is under the playlist for Meghan and Harry. So as you have believed, let it be done to you. And it is so. And I will see you in the next video.